Hey, and welcome to the Drep and Stone podcast, a podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
Kyle.
Hey, man.
We know it's the summer.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. Check my pits. Oh, no, that doesn't matter. They're like that year round.
I was going to say January. It's the same way.
Yeah.
Are you a beach reader?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I love taking books with me and stuff on vacation, but like, I don't take a book with me to the beach.
No.
To specifically read.
Well, it's a thing, and I just the reason why I ask is because I was looking up books for the summer.
Yep.
You know, doing a little bit of travel, and I like to take a book with me.
Yeah.
And every list right now is like top beach reads of 2024. And
yeah.
I'm like, I've done it.
Oh yeah, sure. Like if I was taking a beach vacation.
Yeah.
And was going to be at the beach for several days, yeah, I would absolutely take a book with me. And would take it down to the beach and read. Sure,
right.
Absolutely, I would do that. But we live in Florida, and beach.
Dang it,
beach vacations are beach afternoons,
yeah,
or early mornings.
Yeah,
and we go and we do the thing and we come back. Like,
right.
We rarely go stay at a resort or anything at the beach just because we can go do it in a day.
Right, and be home in my own bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, the thought or like the concept of the beach read,
yeah,
just like also boggles my mind in terms of like, I don't think in the way of like, I want a story that I don't really have to pay attention to, is generally light, or like is a kind of a murder mystery kind of thing, which is what a lot of these books are.
Right.
For me, like I've taken some like really, maybe it's just who I am, like some arduous kind of books to the beach. And like when I have done what you just said, you know, like beach vacation, it's like, no, it's not like a cottage mystery or something. It's like,
it's actually kind of interesting. Like I do prefer to read outside though.
I me too.
Not necessarily at the beach, but like like when I go to visit my mom in Alabama, I'll usually take some books with me and I go and sit out in the front yard and read under
I
these
love
big
reading outside,
oak trees. Went on the cruise a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
You gave me a book. I read it outside on the veranda every day.
Yeah.
You know, rarely ever do I read inside on those types of vacations and things. Obviously, like at home I will, just because it's like sweltering and
right.
Don't necessarily want to go sit on the back porch because it's too hot. But that is my preferred place to read, is outside.
You know, even in the summer here, when at home, I prefer to read outside too, like in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, not obviously at 2 p.m., but in the morning, like I love sitting outside and reading. But interesting. I just thought about it. I was like, beach reads.
Yeah, it sounds like a subcategory that probably wouldn't pertain to me, of like what that is, the beach read.
Yeah. You know, it does pertain to you though.
What?
Cocktails.
Yeah, they do.
You want another one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've got one.
Okay.
That I think might be my favorite summer cocktail of all time.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
You can read the title of the episode.
Yeah, you know what it is.
I know what it is. Do you know what it is?
I know what it is, but I'm not really sure how to pronounce it.
It's called the Caipirinha.
Caipirinha.
Yeah, this is, from what my sources tell me, the national beverage of Brazil.
Oh.
Brazil.
Rio de Janeiro.
Rio.
Decent movie.
The parrot one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
DreamWorks, I think?
No, Blue Sky.
Oh.
Which I think Disney owns now. I think that might have been part of the Fox deal.
Oh. Anyway, this is the Caipirinha.
Yeah.
I've had many a Caipirinha in my day.
Cool. I've never had one.
I was going to say, you sure?
Well, I mean, unless you made it for me and didn't tell me what it was.
Didn't we have one on a Disney boat? What?
What's in it?
That's a great question. Lime, a little bit of sugar, and some Brazilian rum. That's it.
So I wouldn't think so. I'm not sure why I would have had one. I'm not usually a rum person.
Well, we got to rectify that right now.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy rum. It's just not my go-to.
I got it.
So
well, all right, so let's go make one. Everybody's going to come with us. We're going to make one, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, let's go. All right, we've got our caipirinhas mixed.
Caipirinha.
Yeah, so the caipirinha is super simple. I think it's why it's also one of my favorite cocktails, if not my favorite summer cocktail. It includes four ingredients.
4 ingredients.
Yeah, it includes 4 ingredients.
Okay.
First, you got limes.
Yep.
You're going to take a whole lime. You're going to chop it into wedges. You're going to chuck it into some sort of vessel that you're going to muddle it.
Muddle the hell out of it.
Yeah, you're going to take...
You were vigorous with the muddling.
I was.
Yeah.
You're going to take 2 teaspoons of sugar.
Yep.
I use a Demerara sugar. I like the natural flavor that it provides.
Sure.
Little bit of a different note. You're going to muddle all the sugar and the limes together.
Yeah.
Then you're going to take your cachaça.
Yeah.
Cachaça is a Brazilian rum.
Okay.
It smells like nothing else I've ever smelled before.
Yeah, it is unique. I guess that's the interesting thing of like I was reading the bottle and like nowhere does it say rum.
Nope. No.
It doesn't ever reference itself as a rum.
No, it is a cachaça.
Right.
Which is a rum.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, but it never, at least on the bottle, it never says rum. But that's what cachaça is.
Is that where you find it in the liquor stores, in the rum?
Yeah, it's definitely in the rum section. Okay. Yeah. I've also seen it in like the, sometimes they tuck it in the tequila section, which is weird because it has nothing to do with tequila.
Interesting.
But it is a cane sugar-based alcohol, which is rum.
Yep.
Anyway, and then you pour 2 ounces of rum into your shaker or vessel if you're going to stir this. Then you top with ice. You stir or I shook it. Obviously, everybody heard. And then you pour into a rocks glass.
So were you counting the ice as the fourth ingredient?
Yeah, I was.
Why didn't you include the glass?
5 ingredients in the glass. And so it doesn't make the prettiest drink. Now, if you use regular just white sugar, it would be a little clearer.
Right.
Because we use the Demerara sugar, it darkens it up just a little bit.
Right.
So it's not like super bright and it's not bright looking, but it kind of reminds me of a cross between a mojito and a margarita.
Okay.
Because a margarita, obviously, the base is generally tequila for the liquor.
Right.
Or for the alcohol. A mojito, the base is generally a rum for the alcohol.
Right.
And obviously you got lime and you got a little bit of sugar. So it's kind of like a blend of the two.
Gotcha.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Oh, and garnish with the lime, by the way, on the nose.
The aroma of the Cachaca, of that stuff is very unique.
What did you say when you smelled it by itself? Like Gerber peas and carrots? It
smells like peas and bananas. If you took baby food, if you open a jar of bananas and peas, mix that together, and that's the nose spot on.
It reminds me, like, whenever I tell anybody what cachaça smells like, a weed eater that requires the oil to put in it, like into the gas, and you got to mix it together before you do that. It reminds me of what that gasoline smells like for whatever reason, but it doesn't taste like that.
But yeah, no, very interesting. Like, it doesn't smell anything like rum. So to say that, like, it's the same process is very interesting. Like I said, it's a pot stilled sugar cane. So like it's amazing. Like what is it that's giving it that different
funky note?
Yeah,
I wonder if it's just because it's like it's a natural product because it's cane sugar. Like
it's just their terroir.
Maybe just funky. And it could be just this brand because we're using Leblon because it's super easy to find. And this thing, man, this bottle is like $22.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. But this is the one that's easy to find. But I know that there's a bunch of different versions or a bunch of different companies that make it.
Gotcha.
All right, ready?
To the palate. That is a summertime drink.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Like the alcohol, the flavor of the cachaça hits first.
Yes.
And you get it right off the front, like right on the tip of your palate. But then lime.
Yeah,
the rest of the way.
It's like really earthy. The palate of the cachaça is really earthy to me.
Yeah, agreed.
Almost like fresh tilled dirt, earthy, but like something funky in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you get just like clean sweep of lime and just hints of sugar.
Yeah, little touches of sugar here and there. Yeah, a lot of lime. Yeah, that earthiness that it has. Like there's something very specific that I'm not able to put my finger on it right now.
It just screams summer to me for a couple of reasons.
Yeah, which are?
One, super easy to make. So like if you've had a few of these, you're not gonna have to look at a bunch of specs.
Right. Right.
Bright citrus notes.
Yeah.
And you got this like just enough funk that it's just a little different. It is, like I said, it's a cross between, to me, a mojito and a margarita, but it's just different enough that it's like, oh, that's a little weird.
Right.
And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. The interesting notes of the cachaça are like what makes it very unique and different.
Yeah.
I feel like personally, I feel like it would benefit from some seltzer. Just like soda water.
Oh, totally get it. Yeah.
Like if you did this in a double tall glass.
Like a Collins glass or something. Sure.
Yeah. Break down the lime a little bit. And I would be curious at that point, what does that do?
I've done it.
To the cachaça? Like, does that kill it?
No, it doesn't kill it. It does dilute it a little bit. But it kind of, I'm not gonna say brightens the drink, but it makes the drink a little more. It opens it up a little bit.
Right.
And I will absolutely do that. Like normally, what I'll do, my kind of go to when I'm drinking something like this, is I'll make the drink as it's supposed to be. I'll drink it down about halfway, and then I'll pour soda water on top.
Right.
Kind of extend it out a little bit, give me a little bit of a different note.
Right.
I think that's totally fine.
Yeah. The flavors are so pungent.
Yes.
And so dialed up that in terms of like it just being a chill, relaxing drink, it's like the volume is so high.
When I first had this was on a cruise, and I was like broiling in the summer heat.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, let's try something different. Give me one of those Cachaca, but give me one of those.
Give me that.
Yeah. And the lady brought it out, and I was like, this is the perfect time for whatever this thing is.
Right.
Because like it's so loud. It's so much.
Yeah.
And like you want something, especially like when you've been in the sun.
Yeah. Like
you want
bust
something
through that.
Yeah,
heat.
exactly.
Yeah.
You want something that's gonna be quenching, and this thing does it.
Right.
And you want something that's like, what's going on here? And yeah, I agree. It's all of those things. It's really loud. It's really bright. It's really funky. And to me, like, boom, right back on a beach, hanging out and just, broiling in the sun. And I love it.
Good drink.
Thanks.
Super unique.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
Anytime I hear that someone loves a margarita or loves a mojito, I'm like, okay, I want to give you this drink.
Right.
Super
you need
simple,
to try this.
Really easy.
And it's like the hot social media cocktail at the moment.
Oh, really?
For me, anyway.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It's all over my social media streams.
Wow.
Of everybody's doing a Caipirinha.
Caipirinha?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuba Chabra. Whatever it's called.
Right. All right. Well, now that we've got a great drink, Kyle, what do you want to talk about this week?
Came across an interesting quote, sir.
Oh.
Who knows if it's actually attributed to this person, because I found this on the internet and, who knows?
Right.
But no, it made me think first, like I just thought the quote was interesting, but then I realized who said it, who they were attributing it to, and then it became a whole other like brain twisting exploration that took it in a whole different area. The quote is this: "No man loves the country more than I." I immediately thought of you. Just other conversation we've always had about like how important nature is and stuff like that.
Yeah.
"No man loves the country more than I. Do not forests, trees, rocks echo that for which mankind longs."
It sounds like a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote. It sounds like a Henry David Thoreau quote. It sounds like a just like a naturalist quote.
Yeah, very eloquent.
Yeah,
naturalist. Absolutely.
Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I could go with like William Wordsworth. Like these kind of like romantic poets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just the quote itself.
Yeah.
I love it. Definitely like harkens back of like, I mean, I think back to like my childhood.
Yeah.
And a vast majority of my childhood was outside.
Sure.
And I
same.
I loved being out in nature. I loved just being outside, and like I get that take of, and just like the word country.
Yeah.
Not like I love nature.
Yeah.
No man loves nature more than I, but no man loves the country.
Yeah, the implication being like away from other people, space between other people.
Yeah, like just the word country is specific to like out, away from
exactly
the chaos of the city life.
Yeah,
just being out in the country.
Same. Like that was my childhood. It was like we lived in suburban Central Florida, and like 45 minutes from Orlando or Tampa, basically, back when, you could make it to those places in that amount of time. But, far enough away where, like, obviously I knew those places existed as a kid.
Right.
But we lived in nowhere.
Right.
Do
not forests, trees, rocks echo that for which mankind longs.
Oh, that part. That's what gets me.
Yeah.
Is that, like, these natural things are echoing those deeply human qualities of wanting to be maybe away, or wanting to be a part of nature, away from other people, maybe just away from like the hustle and bustle of cities. It reminds me like very much of kind of this modern American perspective of like return to a simpler time,
right.
Return to a simpler lifestyle, get away from New York City, go into the Adirondacks kind of thing.
Yeah. And to me, it made me think of like any time recently that I've been able to get into like full nature.
Yeah.
Not into a garden.
Right.
Not into a well manicured space that's outside, but like into raw nature. I thought about Vermont.
Yeah.
You know, and like just the brief like little walks that we did out there there is something that when you're in those spaces that is very like, no, like this feels right. Like this does feel so, it's this echo of belonging and like, I'm so comfortable here.
I think I know exactly what you're saying. And I think the feeling for me, what you're describing is like when you're walking in a city, you're walking among inanimate objects. But when you're walking in nature, you're walking among things that are alive.
Right.
And so like that's obviously not the rocks part, but like that's what that means to me is like the trees are alive. There's this, like, I don't want to sound too hippie about it, but like there's this reverberation of living all around you.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of like being echoed back to you.
Yeah. And like I think just because it's something that I don't get on the regular. I don't get all the time, even though like I take walks around my neighborhood literally every day. And a lot of that is kind of in like a nature space, but it's like it's not the same.
Yeah.
But I love that take of like what mankind longs.
Yeah.
Like what we long for is to be in this kind of like natural space.
Yeah, I mean, we literally in the top of the episode we talked about reading outside.
Oh yeah,
like
sure.
I mean, I just made that connection. Like we
Didn't
did
even
not
think
plan
about
that. No, and like I love to do that because
Yeah.
it's in that space of like this is not industrial, this is not man made. It's just there's something about, again, for lack of sounding too new age.
Hug
about
that
it.
tree, Nick.
Well,
Just go
no,
for it.
no,
Full
no.
on embrace it.
I think that we do long for that. Like
Yeah,
there's
agreed.
you know, and I think you can also clearly see when people either aren't aware of or have lost it or whatever. You can see that in people. I mean, look at people that live in these big cities, and there are people that are in their 40s that look 70.
Right.
You know.
But yeah, no, I just love the quote.
Yeah, agreed.
It's such a fun quote. And then I read who it's attributed to.
Oh yeah, we never said that. Everyone's like, who the hell said this? Who said it?
Ludwig von Beethoven.
The composer?
Yeah. No,
Like-
no, the
The
social media guy.
The shoe salesman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Worked at J.C. Penney.
Beethoven, the
dog?
influencer.
Oh, I know him.
He's fighting Jake Paul next week. No, then when I thought about who it's from, and I'm just like, wow, like I look at your time period that you would have existed in as being so much more connected to nature than we are in our digital virtual reality selves, that you would have been so much more in tune to nature and the way things are made and produced and understanding of like the connection of all of it than I feel like we currently are. Just because like you would have had like you still would have had horses through the streets.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
You still would have just been there would have been such a more direct connection to like how you get your water and like all that kind of stuff.
Beethoven is late 1700s, early 1800s. He was born in 1770.
Okay.
Died in 1827.
There you go.
So like very squarely in this like things are happening.
Pre-industrial age.
Right. Like we're moving toward that. It's very clear we're moving toward that. But yeah, this is a more agrarian-based society maybe?
Yeah. I mean that's my take on it. But the fact that he would still have this thought of, like the civilization, these big cities that I'm accustomed to residing in and being a part of, I long to be in the country.
Right.
And like that just was like even like a whole different concept of this quote to me that still rang so true then.
This is a thing that we're experiencing 250 years later, and obviously he's experiencing 250 years ago,
right?
Give or take.
Yeah, it's like that the idea of a spectrum,
right?
Of like he might have been experiencing this here. We're now experiencing it from a far further perspective point, but the concept still rang true.
Yeah,
and like the benefits of being in nature were still so spot on and accurate that he was able to still articulate that concept.
Well, like my mind goes to a weird spot of like, the Blade Runner style city of LA, or like if you want to go another route, like the Coruscant style,
the planet city.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that is our future in a myriad ways. Like that's where we're headed in I think, or that's where we could head at some point.
That's like the end point.
Right.
It's like the other end of the spectrum.
I think we've gotten societally much more of a better understanding of like, people need green spaces. Like these need to happen in cities.
Right.
But like the fact that somebody 250 years ago had that same thought sitting in an apartment in Vienna going like, man, I want to be out of this city.
Right.
And that someone like me, who I do not live in a big city, but you throw me in New York City, like I love visiting New York.
Oh yeah.
You throw me in New York though, I am good for about 3 days. Right. After that, I'm like, I want to be anywhere else. Like I love what's going on, but like this is just too much.
Even saying that, like there's Central Park, big huge park. It's not the same though.
No,
you've still got that backdrop.
Exactly.
You never fully feel enveloped by nature there.
Exactly.
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I love Central Park, but like there's still that curtain of buildings back there that you're always aware of. And so you still know, like there's still like the sounds in Central Park are not the sounds of nature.
Not
you
the
still
same way.
hear cars and you still hear all of it. It's nice. It's a nice reprieve, but you're still in New York City.
Yeah. And very much in the same way, the city is alive in a different manner. The city is alive in a very humanistic perspective. Like it's all hustle bustle human. Whereas in the country, you see wildlife. You can see life that is not human, and it's a different feeling because of it.
Right.
You see large grass expanses, you see large trees, you see, flora and fauna that you don't get in a city. And that there's something about that existing in that space that calms, maybe?
I don't know. It's something that echoes and makes you long for it.
I mentioned the Wordsworth and Coleridge, and there's this like sublime kind of thing of like you can't really describe what this feeling is,
right?
Other than the feeling exists,
right?
And like the sublime and subliminality of nature, in that I am home in some ways, and I am comforted in some ways, even if this is a place that I'm not completely familiar with,
right? I often have like the brain exercise of like it surprises me that there's not. It's like Westworld.
Yeah,
I feel like there should almost be, and there probably is. I'm probably just naive to it, but like an experience where you would go and experience what it would be like to exist at that time, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
of like how far removed can you be, and I'm sure that would be lovely.
I think it'd be hard. Like if you were to be able to like, exist in like Jamestown, Virginia, kind of like perspective,
right?
Like you could do it, but I think it'd be for us anyway in our hyper connected, electronically based perspective. Like you could absolutely do it. Like I saw The Village. You could do it,
right?
But it's gonna be very difficult.
Yeah, like I mean, even just like when I was on a cruise a few weeks ago, that first jolt of, oh man,
I can't just whip out my phone.
My phone is kind of useless now. That first jolt of not being able to like have a question in your mind. Oh, well, yeah, what is? Oh, yeah, I can't.
Phone
look
doesn't
at,
work.
I can't look at Google right quick to figure out the answer to that random question, or utilize it to just. I need to pass the next 5 minutes while I'm sitting here bored waiting for a thing. It takes you a couple of days to like readjust to that and just, not immediatly go to it.
Think about like what you just said. I found myself doing that today. I was at a stoplight, and you're at a light 5 minutes,
2 minutes.
Like if you're at a light 5 minutes, like you're like, God, what's going on?
Yeah, something's happening.
Yeah, you're at a light for maybe 60 seconds, 120 seconds, give or take, whatever. And I found myself picking up my phone, like just scrolling real quick. And like Beethoven couldn't have done that. And yet he's still thinking in the way that I'm like, man, return to like a simpler time.
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
Okay, so if that dude 250 years ago was thinking that, like, I don't got shot in hell. Like,
yeah. Certainly it had to have been a different kind of boredom.
Yeah.
You know, that we can't fully experience at this point.
And yet, in most cases, how much of these like hallmark tentpole kind of artistic expression things come out of a period prior to ours? Like this is what people did for. That's all you had.
It's that rumination.
Write a novel.
Yeah.
Write a symphony.
Yep.
Paint a painting.
Yep.
If you don't have that leisure time because you're working, whatever, like this is what people who were afforded leisure time could do.
Yep.
And we could do likewise, but we've got so many other things that are distracting.
Yep. We've got so much content to absorb.
Exactly. So put down your phone. Finish out the Drep and Stone episode first. Put down your phone and go paint some haystacks in the French countryside.
You're clever.
Thank you.
Nah, just listen to the next episode of Drep and Stone.
Because it's gonna play right after this
right
one.
Next. Right next. You got what? How many now? Over 200.
Yeah. If you want, you can binge 240
deep dive
plus Drep and Stone episodes.
Incredible.
Yeah. Easily 7 years of content.
Yeah, what a day. What a day we live in.
Right. On that note, you got anything else?
No, I think that's it. I thought that was so interesting.
So good.
Like it's such a good quote in and of itself, and like certainly would have thought that it was like written by somebody more contemporary.
Totally sounds like
it. And I was like, what?
Beethoven?
Come on.
The dog wrote this?
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, so good.
Have we not had a remake of Beethoven?
That's a good question.
That's right.
I'm gonna write to somebody.
Yeah, that's right.
On that note, you got anything else?
No, I think that's good.
Yeah, me neither. Well, we'd love to know, what do you think about this quote attributed to Beethoven?
Yeah. Do you think it was really him? Was he really interested in this stuff, or was he just more way concerned on the next symphony?
Right. We also want to know, what do you think about a Caipirinha?
Yeah. How do you jazz it up? There's something you do different to it, or do you just like the classic version?
Yeah.
You're sugar and lime.
Yeah, exactly.
And ice.
Yeah. And a glass.
And a glass.
Yeah, correct. Well, you can get in touch with us through email. It's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word, Drep and Stone, DREP and Stone. Come find us on social media. We've got lots of great content out there. Obviously we're saying don't be absorbed by content, get out into nature. But if you don't, do some of that social media on our site.
Exactly.
Interact with our media.
Exactly. If you're gonna, put the media socially away, just don't put ours away.
Yeah. Make sure ours is still present.
No, that's not true. You know what? Everything in healthy moderation. Get yourself some social media content, and then be on your phone in nature.
There you go. Everything's downloadable at this point.
Sure,
you can always have it.
Sure.
You just gotta think ahead.
I jest. We love it if you support the podcast. You can do so in a myriad ways, and the first of which is to rate Drep and Stone wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Rate it.
You can also support the podcast by getting yourself a couple of Flaviar subscriptions or bottles, whatever you want to do. It's Flaviar.com. Use the promo code DSP10 upon checkout. You'll save yourself a little bit of money and you'll help the podcast at the same time.
Man, 2 wins right there.
I know. You can also get yourself some really great non-alcoholic beer. This one doesn't support the podcast. We just like our friends over at Rationale.
Love that beer.
Yeah, you just you can get 25% off. Use your promo code, use the promo code WELCOME25. Save yourself.
Just put a fresh 6-pack in the fridge yesterday.
Oh man. That's WELCOME25, rationale.com. Get yourself some really fresh, great NA beers. You can also support the podcast by joining us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/drepandstone. Give us a couple bucks here and there. Helps keep everything running smoothly.
Yeah, most financially secure way. Responsible,
yeah.
Absolutely.
You want fiscal responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it.
it.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, Kyle, probably the best and easiest way to support Drep and Stone.
How's that?
Tell someone about the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Easier than pie.
Yeah, pie's kind of difficult.
It's like flying in Peter Pan.
You can fly?
It's easier than pie.
You can fly.
You can fly.
You can fly. You're on a beach in Brazil.
In Rio?
And you're watching the movie Brazil.
What's the movie Brazil?
Oh, dude.
Oh, never mind.
No, you can watch it. It's weird.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck.
No thanks.
But you're watching the movie Brazil while on a beach in Brazil, in Rio, specifically, and you're looking up at the mountains, beautiful mountains, and you're
listening to Brazil.
Correct. Exactly. And you're drinking a caipirinha.
Wow.
Yeah, and you see someone next to you. You're playing that like football, or you're playing that soccer volleyball thing. You know what I'm talking about. They play it on the beach. Yeah, trust me. Yeah. Anyway, you're playing that, and you see someone.
You're doing too many things, like multitasking.
Well, this is what Beethoven's talking about.
You're not doing any of this stuff well.
And you stop because you realize you're doing too many things.
Right.
And you turn to the person next to you, and you're like, "We're doing too many things."
Yeah.
You know what we should do?
What?
We should go listen to an episode of Drep and Stone.
Wow. Who are they?
They're this podcast from back home in America.
You're on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. You're in Brazil. And they actually are discussing a caipirinha. Which is what we're drinking right now.
That's very meta.
It is, because they are prescient individuals.
Wow.
I know. They use words like prescient.
And
individual.
Cachaca.
They emulate Sean Connery while they... Cachaca.
Mufasa Cachaca.
Anyway, tell us somewhat about Drep and Stone. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah,
we make it so complicated every time.
Yeah, we do. It's just literally.
But it's not. It's not complicated at all.
It's probably I already said it. It's the easiest and most effective way.
Yeah.
I know we're making it more convoluted, but it's because we're trying to tell you how easy it is.
We like to LARP.
LARP.
Yeah.
Live action role play.
Yeah, that's what what we're doing
exactly
right there.
What we're doing. You're not wrong. I'm gonna go get my foam sword. Hold on.
I've actually got mine ready.
Put it away.
No. Okay, never mind.
On that note, hey buddy.
Hey buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your Cachaca. And your Cachaca. And your rocks glass. And your ass never show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Man, I tried so hard.
Holy shit, it's so loud. I don't know how to turn that down. I gotta figure that out.
Yeah.
Like, it's so
maxed out.
I know. Hey! No, I already did that.
Of the Cachaca?
Cachaca.
Cachaca.
Yep.
Not Sasha.
Nope.
Cachaca.
Yeah.
Just reverse it.